Welcome to the Sales and Marketing for Decorators podcast with me, John Mears. And today I am joined once again by the legendary Dulux Decorator of the Year 2018, Alton's sexiest man. I don't know, I'm running out of things. It's Trevor Mangan again. How are you, mate?
Hello there. How are we?
Oh, I'm having a good time, mate. Good time. How are you? You all right?
Yeah, I was just reading an email I got from a customer that said I went to look at a job the other day and they've just sent me an email. Thank you for your quote. However, I'm afraid we will not be going ahead with you on this occasion. Which was just as well because I went there and you know when you just cannot build any rapport with the customer.
Yeah.
You just can't get anything going. I mean, the wife was okay, but the husband didn't say a word to me. He walked straight past me, didn't say a word. So I mean, I did. I wasn't rude enough to not quote them. I did quote, but it was a little bit extortionate. So I'm not surprised at that reaction, to be honest. But yeah, you know, you think, well, I know it's your own home, mate, but you can at least say hello to me.
Yeah, I don't get people like that. I don't get the people treating tradesmen like they're just not there.
Yeah, it was exactly like that. Yeah. So each time he ignored me, I put £1,000 on the price. That's probably why I didn't get it.
That's it. You got to put the arsehole tax on, haven't you?
Exactly. That's what he got. Well and truly, it was. I mean, it would have been a nice job, but yeah, I don't. You just get a sense, don't you, that that you don't really want to work for people like that. To be honest, why put yourself through the pain? That's what I say.
Absolutely. Plenty of good customers out there to go and get.
I can sit at home and get ignored.
Oh dear. Right, we're off. What are we talking about? You've completely derailed it in the first sentence. Yeah, following up. This is something I've done a couple of blogs about and speak to a lot of people about. Is following up. For me in sales, following up is like the golden rule. That's one of the first things you're taught in any sales position, that the vast majority of your sales will be in the follow-up. The fortune's in the follow-up is the saying. But in decorating, I don't know, I guess there's a few different reasons why people don't do it. Some people aren't comfortable with it. Some people think they shouldn't have to do it, so they're too stubborn and won't do it. Some people think, well, if they're not polite enough to come back to me with an answer yes or no, then why should I bother chasing? What do you think? Do you follow up with customers?
I follow up, and I'm trying now to persuade my missus to get involved because I think it'll be a good way of getting some actual feedback about the appointment.
You seem desperate to get your missus into the business somehow, is it?
Well, she doesn't do much else. You should know I looked over my shoulder when I said that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love.
You're very brave when she's not here, aren't you?
I think we all are, aren't we? Yeah, we're all really brave when they're not about. No, I just think that it's if she actually did the follow-ups about, because that's the pretense you could, because I think we're all worried about what do I say when I phone up, but if she actually phoned up and said, Trevor came, or, you had an appointment, how did it go, did it cover everything off, and just had a set of maybe 3 or 4 questions that you can ask the customer. Are you getting the feedback about your appointment process? And B, it gives you opportunity to say if you made a decision yet, without, you can slide that one in at the end. So I think half the reason is decorators don't like making these follow-up calls is they want to they think they think they need a reason to phone up. They don't want to disturb the customer, or and I think there's times when well, everybody leads busy lives, and the times I've phoned up, customers appreciate, oh yeah, sorry, I was meant to get back to you. Yeah, we have. And it's just, I think it shows that you still care about the job and you've got an interest in their job, rather than, oh, they get back to me. And 9 times out of 10 they won't. And maybe the other decorator has been following up the quotes and they've built a bit of a relationship with that decorator, without you even knowing.
9 times out of 10, I find in any sales job I've had, 9 times out of 10, it's just they were too busy, or it slipped their mind, or whatever, and they're quite thankful for the reminder. I think it's important to, when you're following up, is you do want to have you want to bring some sort of value to it. You don't want to just call them up and go, hi, just checking in, make sure you got the quote. It's like, well, you know, I got the quote because you emailed it over, and that's how it works and stuff like that. But so you need to have something to say. So first follow-up call need only be as simple as, hi, I sent over the quote a couple of days ago. Just want to make sure that everything's in line and it covered everything that you wanted, or was there anything missing from it? Let me know.
Yeah, but you can even tee them up for that call on your quote when you send your quote in.
Oh, definitely.
I tell them that, you know, I'll send them the quote. I'll call you in a few days just to make sure that everything we spoke about is on the quote.
Yeah, so getting ahead of it like that makes the call so much easier, doesn't it?
Because they're expecting it.
Yeah, exactly. So when do you follow up? So you put a quote in, you're emailing your quotes over, I guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of a new way of doing it, because I think email is pretty boring. I think with all these new technologies and everything, I think there must be a more exciting way to send, you know, because when you think of it, some jobs you're quoting, you know, it's the price of a small family car. You know, you go to a car dealership and you get coffee and you get sort of like quite, you know, you get looked after. And we're just emailing quotes of sort of 7, 8, 9, 10 grand to people. And email's boring. It's just, yeah, there's your email, there's 10 grand. But
that's a very good point, actually.
Let's try and do something to fucking. Let's try and do something to make it, you know, a little bit more customer, you know, the customer experience a little bit better, rather than a 10 grand email. And, you know, so I'm trying to think of some way. I mean, we've just, before all this, we spoke about Zoom calls, didn't we? About doing the proposal or presenting the estimate on a Zoom call, which I'm quite keen on. You're not so keen yourself, are you?
I love the idea of it, and I wish you could do it, because I think if you could deliver every proposal on a Zoom call, I think your success rate would be much, much higher, because you've got that extra 5-10 minutes to go through the proposal and firstly check off that you've included everything that they were expecting to be included, and that you're offering everything they want, but also you're stopping them from just opening it up, going right to the back page, straight to the bottom. What's the price? You can go through and you can talk to them about why the price and how you've arrived at that price, and that you've not just plucked a number out of the air. And it gives you that extra opportunity to set yourself apart from everybody else. So if you can deliver them on a Zoom call, or even, I think as a minimum, you've got to follow up a couple of days after, like you do, and just talk them through it a little bit. I think Zoom call would be great. Otherwise, I've often said about, it's good to send the customer a text or an email, or give them a quick ring and say, like, hi, I've just put the finishing touches to your quote. Want to make sure that I've got everything right. Can I call you at 6 p.m. so we can just go through it over the phone? And I think that sort of thing just gives you that edge. And like I say, when you put it into context of, they could be buying a car with this money.
Yeah.
If they went and got a car, they're going to get much better service than, you know.
I mean, not that it's your fault, because it's a different environment. But I think you should make there should be something nowadays that you can just make it a little bit more like they feel like they're actually getting something, rather than just an email.
You want to be rolling out the red carpet, don't you?
Well, you want to be doing. I think you want to be doing something, because I just don't know what it is at the moment. I just don't know how you could do it. Not sure, but there must be a way of doing something a little bit special.
Yeah. So
standing out.
When do you do your first follow up? So it's what, 48 hours after?
Yeah, a couple of days after. Yeah.
And then do you follow up again after that?
Well, yeah, because when you make that call, you obviously want to finish. If they've not said yes or no, then was it all right? You want to let them know that you'll be calling them again until you get an answer, really. So just say, well, I'll give you a call in a week's time. Is that all right? And 9 times out of 10, if they want to get rid of you, they'd basically agree to anything, wouldn't they? Yeah, that'd be fine. In a week's time is a long time, isn't it? Yeah. But just make sure that in a week's time you do phone back, and just, you know, it's you're not pestering them, you know, because like I say, sometimes they actually forget. It may be that you're the only person that's actually making the effort to stay in contact. I mean, you know, and each phone call, you're building a relationship with them. You know, you're getting used to each other. And they may even think, well, you know, he's a little bit more expensive, but at least he's making the effort. He obviously wants to work, or, you know, he's quite enthusiastic.
I think it goes a long way to. This is something I think a lot of people look at following up as it makes you look desperate, but I think it's the opposite of that. I think it makes you look professional. It looks like you've got systems in place to make sure you are getting the most out of all of your quotes and that you're closing as many deals as possible.
Well, we were talking, weren't we, just before we start recording, and I've got 16 quotes outstanding at the moment, and they are worth £47,000.
Yeah.
If you can get, you know, if you can get 10% of that, you know, 5%, it's stuff it's like you say, it's money there on the table that's just sitting there at the minute. It's just waiting to be, you know, and if you can just do it with a few phone calls.
Well, this is when you look at the money like that, and you just go, bloody hell, there's nearly 50 grand sat there, and all I've got to do is make a few phone calls. Then why is everybody not just doing it? I mean, that's how you should be looking at following up. It's a hell of a lot more effort to get a new customer from scratch, go around, do the visit, do the quote, do everything like that. I think the least you deserve is just to make a follow-up call. And like you say 10%, I can almost guarantee you, if you call all 60 of those people, at least one of them is going to say, oh, yeah, sorry, I was a bit busy. Yes, when can we get your books in? And you could be, for the sake of a 5-minute phone call, could be worth 4 or 5 grand for you. So it makes complete sense to be doing it.
And the other thing is, if you do make the phone calls, you've got an ideal opportunity to find out why they didn't use you. And then next time, you know, I lost one the other day that I phoned up. She said, oh, yeah, sorry. She said you couldn't do it in the time, you know, in the time scale we had, which, you know, I can't really help that. I've got other work booked in. So
feedback like that is massive. If you look at it as, let's say you put 3 or 4 quotes in, and you get nothing back on all of them, or they all get turned down, or whatever happens, the first thing you might think is, oh shit, am I too expensive? Do I need to reduce my costs? Do I need to reduce this and that? And your brain will just start going crazy thinking about all the reasons why they might not have chose you. But if you just ring them up and go, what's happened? And they go, well, you couldn't fit me in the time frame we needed. You go, oh, okay, so it was nothing to do with price or anything like that. No. There you go. You can rest easy, move on. You don't end up slashing your prices for no reason.
But then there's another reason to phone them up, isn't there? You know, you could say the ones that you knew wanted to buy a different date. Just say, look, I know you wanted the work done by X amount of time. You have not, you know, have you reached a decision? Because I'm booking work in. I've only got, you know, I've got that week left. You know, and it just gets the conversation going, doesn't it? So you've got gives you another reason to phone up.
Yeah, it's I mean, in a lot of the sales jobs that I've had, we go back to about the price and the amount of money that's involved. Higher ticket items, and painting and decorating is a high ticket item. Anything I've sold, you need to make contact with a customer on a number of occasions. You know, sometimes 8, 9, 10 times before they're gonna be happy to make the decision. You can't expect to just walk around, measure up, send them a text with a price, and expect someone to go, yeah, fine, here's 10 grand. You've got to put more work in. You've got to build that relationship, like you say.
And when you look at it like that, if you start looking at it like you've got to make 8 or 10 contacts with the customer, each time you phone them up, it's another step closer. So, you know, just tick it off the list. Think, right, that's another step. That's another step. It's another contact. It's another conversation. You know, and you're getting closer to building a relationship that they're comfortable with.
Even if it's just a voicemail or a text or an email or something like that. And there's ways that you can frame it to make it less pressured, less salesy, if that's something that worries you. I'm a big fan of just, if I send an email and I've been struggling to get hold of someone, I'll just make it easy for them to get out of it. If you think that they just feel bad and they don't want to tell you no because they feel bad about doing that, make it easy for them. Just go, right, here's an email, and on the email I'll say something like, I've chased you a couple of times, whatever it is. If you don't respond to this email, I'm just going to assume you're busy, and I'll keep trying to get in touch with you. But if you just don't want to go ahead with the work, please just respond with the word no, and I can knock you off my list, and that would be really helpful, so that I don't keep chasing you and wasting your time. So give them that out if you want, but I think you'll find most people, they just don't see your email, didn't open it, forgot to call you back.
Yeah,
it happens. Like you say, people are busy, so
yeah,
you've got to accommodate that fact, and just a lot of the time it is they've just missed your call or whatever, and it's not that they're just secretly thinking, oh, I don't want to go with this guy, or I've hired someone else and I'm trying to avoid him.
Yeah, I think it's more, to be honest, it's more of a you problem than it is a them problem. I think it's more in your head. It's always worse thinking about what's going to happen than actually doing it. If you do it, just give it a go.
Yeah.
If you give it a go, you've tried, and you might be surprised at the work that you do get out of it, because I think it should be done. I really do, because like I say, 50 grand's worth of work sat there.
Do you know what I need you to do? After we've done this, make those 16 phone calls.
Yeah.
See if you get some, and I'll put it in I'll edit a little bit into the end. The last time
I phoned was I phoned about most of them about 3 days ago. So they're definitely due another one. But yeah,
give me a ring, then let me know what you get out of it, and then I'll edit a bit into the end of this podcast and just say, right, how much did you get? If you don't get any, then we'll just have to delete this podcast as a load of rubbish. But if you do get some, then we're on to something.
It's all right, I can lie, don't worry.
Yeah. Oh, top man. Oh dear. So something that always works for me and sales in general, it's about having a process and having set things to do. So let's talk about how could a decorator build their follow-up process so it doesn't feel like they're nagging, they're hassling and stuff like that. So I think follow-up number one is, as you're delivering the quote in, however you do that, you put a little note just saying, right, I'll give you a couple of days just to go over this and have a think about it. I'll call you in 48 hours and we'll have a chat and see where we are.
Yeah.
So you can make that first phone call. That's follow-up number one. What do you think for follow-up number two? How do you approach that?
Follow-up number two is basically when you finish with number one, you just agree, don't you, for a future time, like you say, whether it's a few days or do you want a week or whatever, and then as long as they've agreed to it, and then just call them up saying, hey, phoned you a week ago, said I'll give you a call today just to see where we were. Have you decided what you want to do, or is there anything else I can help you with, or
I think at that point, after follow-up number one, you might have a few bits that you can go away and work on. They might go, oh, well, this was missing from the quote, or whatever. Yeah. Can you give me a few more details on why the price of that is that? Can you break it down a little bit for us? So you might get that immediate, yes, you've got to do these couple of bits, and then you've got a reason to call them back because you've got to do some stuff for them.
But your other one's a good one as well, isn't it? It's to actually try and find some information that they've not asked for to send them, or to pick up, they might have said that they want a colour, or so go and look, if you're doing outside, they may not be sure about a certain colour. Find a house that's similar to theirs in that colour and email that to them and say, oh, I've just found, but it's not actually asking about the quote, but it's just showing an interest still, and it's another contact. It's another.
Yeah, that's it. It doesn't have to. Every follow-up doesn't necessarily have to be, are you ready to buy yet? Are you ready to buy yet? Do you want to book it in? Do you want to book it in? It can just be, exactly as you say. Maybe they were talking about painting the front room blue, and you go, oh, just by the way, I was just digging through some old photos, and I found a couple of jobs in similar colours. Here you go. Let me know what you think. And then they might come back and go, "Oh, that's awesome. When can we get you booked in?" If they ignore it, then you know it's another contact point that you've had with them, and you're still that counts as a follow up, and you're one step closer to that sale.
But I think the important thing is not to be, just because they don't contact you back and say yes or no or whatever, don't look at that as just think, right, they're busy people. I get emails about this spreadsheet that I've put out, and it's all positive, some positive stuff there. Thanks very much. And I think, well, yeah, I should reply to it, but there's not really much I can say, and I do sit down and actually reply to the emails when I can, but I don't reply to them straight away because I'm trying to work through the day in there. It's very nice people to send me it and give me the feedback. I do get around to it, but it's not immediate. So don't look at it like a negative. You just, and basically, unless you're told no or to go away, then keep going. I think.
This is it, yeah, and it's a difficult mindset to adopt because, like you say, they're just getting their own heads too much.
Yeah, they do.
You've got to look at it as until they say no, they haven't. You're entitled to keep going. That's all. Yeah. That's all you're looking for. Just keep going until you get a yes or a no. That's what you want.
And if you've got the mindset of you're trying to help them, that's the thing you want. Not that you're trying to sell it. Just say you're just trying to help them make a decision.
Yeah, if you truly believe in what you're doing and how good your service is, if you think, I'm the best value decorator out there, I'm going to do a brilliant job and I can't wait to transform this person's house, it's almost your obligation to follow up and make sure they do it.
I mean, you could even get it down to a little system where if you're doing insides, you could actually start sending them little bits about cracks and we'll, when we come across a crack like this, we'll gun this with Painter's Mate. It stays flexible. Just drip them little bits of information about how you do the work. You could have that as a little process almost.
I've done it almost exactly that. I'll put together like 3 or 4 small bits of information. Might be a link to an article, it might be a couple of images, it might be whatever it is. I'll put that together. There's 3 or 4 things, and then I'll just go, right, every 3 days I'm just going to send them one of those pieces of value. And if they read it and they see it, that's another follow-up. They've seen my name, and after those 3 or 4, if they haven't come back to me and said, right, I want to buy this or go ahead or whatever, I think, well, I've made contact probably 8-10 times in total now. If they're not ready to buy now, they're probably not going to be ready. So let's move on and look at other deals. But I bet
it is something, especially now with Canva and bits and pieces like that. Canva lets you save all these images, and all you've got to do is copy and paste them onto an email, and it's minutes work, not even that. And I'm pretty sure other decorators won't be doing it.
Well, this is it. It's another way you can set yourself apart from the competition and start winning that extra bit of work. This almost 50 grand in pending deals that you've got. When's that from? Is that all quotes of this year, I assume?
This year. Let me have a look. 3 in January, so I'd pretty much say they're not even going anymore. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 in February.
Yeah, and
about 9
just to give everyone a reference on time, it's the 16th of March today. Because this one might not go out for a while.
Oh yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I think you can probably. The other ones have had. I know a few of them. I know the reasons for a few of them on there because I've spoken to the customers about them. One of them back in January has been ill. So she's been in and out of hospital, so she's not, But if I'd have made that phone call, I would know that she's, recuperating at home from an operation in hospital. So at least I know where I am with it. And that's the other thing, isn't it? Knowing what sort of stages you're at with the jobs that are outstanding. And without making a call or talk to the customer, you won't know.
This is it. So, I'm looking at that and thinking every month, if you're not following up, you could be throwing away 10 grand's worth of business. And this is, once you do your follow-up calls, we'll see how many come in and how many convert into deals. But it just feels like it's a lot of money to be thrown away because you don't have a process in place and you're not prepared to make 1 or 2 follow-up phone calls.
But maybe, I don't know, maybe decorators don't actually know how much work is outstanding because, I mean, I'm not shouting about it, but all I've set up is a simple spreadsheet with the date that I quoted, the customer's name, what sort of work it was, where the lead come from, whether it's like website or a referral or Dulux Select or something like that, whereabouts the job is, so I've got an idea of the areas that the work's coming from, and the value of the quote. But so each time I do a quote, I just add it to the spreadsheet, and it starts off at pending, then it either goes to won or lost.
Yeah.
And then that spreadsheet tells me where I am, what work I've won, what I've lost, and what's pending. But
that's all you need, something simple like that.
But it's not, do other decorators do that sort of thing?
Possibly not.
So do they actually know how much work they are losing each month? Maybe, it's a lot of things that no one actually teaches us this sort of stuff, and we're all sort of fumbling through trying to find our best ways. A lot of decorators work really, most decorators work really hard, and to sit down and do this, they're not the most technically minded of people, and you think, well, and it's not their fault, but if they actually sat down and saw what they'd quoted and what was outstanding, and it might actually make them think, right, okay, maybe I should devote a bit more time to this. Goes back to the old saying that I always say, for goodness sake, that was very good of me, for goodness sake, guys, for goodness sake, spend half a day or a day a week on your admin if you can, because I'm convinced it will reap far more benefits than spending the day rolling a ceiling.
100%. What you're describing there with that spreadsheet is it's a basic version of what in the sales world is called a CRM, a customer relationship manager. So, and CRMs, famous sort of online versions of CRMs now, it'll be like Salesforce.com. There's one called Pipedrive that I use, and essentially it's like a glorified spreadsheet, and you enter your customer details in when they come into your pipeline, into your deal, and then what you do is you put the value of that deal and you show, and they go along all the stages. So they go from quotation, I've sent the quotation, then you move them to the next column, which is I've made follow-up call number 1. You move them to the next column, follow-up number 2, and it shows the process of every customer, so you can quickly get this snapshot look of where all your customers are, how many leads are coming in, how many deals am I winning, how many are losing. And this is a multi-million, billion-pound industry for basically organizing sales deals like this. And the reason that people will pay so much for these systems and why they're so popular is purely because they make you a lot of money. Being organized on this sort of thing makes you so much money, because those simple follow-ups and having a few basic processes in place will make you tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands over a career, no problem. So I think that's a great starting point, is to do something like you've done there. Just input your deals, what the quote value is, when you quoted for it, and then maybe just a couple of little notes on when you're going to contact them next, that sort of thing. Well,
what I've found it useful is also that I've put what type of work it is, so whether it's a hall stairs and landing, a lounge, and outside, because then you can actually see where what type of work you're doing most of. Because I know I seem to be doing loads. This is particularly last year, loads of hall stairs and landings. That was sort of like bread and butter last year.
Yeah, and
then you can actually gear your sales maybe to that sort of work.
Absolutely, and you're capturing where the leads are coming from as well.
Yeah.
So you could quite easily then look at 6 months data and go, oh, do you know what? 90% of my leads are coming from Facebook or whatever it might be, and 90% of those are for hall stairs landings. So then you can look at your whole marketing strategy and go, what the point? Why the hell am I spending money on newspaper ads, this, that, and the other, advertising, exterior work, and showing pictures of living rooms and stuff like that? If I focus my marketing on Hallstairs Landings and spend most of my budget on Facebook, that is where I'm going to get more work. I'm going to get more success doing that, because that is clearly what the market wants from me.
Yeah, and I'm sure there's more information I can add to this spreadsheet.
Yeah,
you know, but it's got to be honest, it does get a bit addictive, because you do a quote, and then you put it into the spreadsheet, and you think, right, okay, and it just, like I say, I can see now that I think I've looked at this year. I've looked at 3 quotes a week. I've actually looked at 3 jobs a week, rather.
Yeah,
I've 36 jobs I've been to see this year. It's, you think, well, that's quite some. I think that's some good. Well, for me, that's really good, because this time last year it was dead. So you can even see, where you increase in workloads come from. It's it's worth, like I say, there's probably more I could add to that, but I just like to keep it quite simple, because when you sat doing a quote, you just want to put in the basic details for now and just have the information at hand. But it does work. It really, it's useful information to have, and to sort of for a quick look at where you're at.
Definitely, and I think putting that monetary value in there, so that you know how much money's sat there waiting for you to grab it, that's a real incentive to do something. Okay, let's wrap this up then with a few quick things that decorators can action and put into their business straight away. So I think number 1 is start tracking that information. So get a little spreadsheet together, and what's the basics? You want to capture where the lead come from, who it's for, and how much the quote is.
And what sort of area? Whether it's like a kitchen, a bathroom, Hallstairs and Landing.
Yeah.
So that's what I've got. I've got the date, what type of work it is, where it came from, and the area and the value. So
so those bits of information, put that into a spreadsheet. That's a 5-10 minute job. You can set that up and just start tracking that straight away. And then I think set yourself a process of, after quotes, 48 hours later, on the quote, tell them you're going to follow up, and 48 hours later, just give them a call, see what's going on, make sure everything was on the quote that they wanted, and if there's any problems, and then as a minimum, should we say one more follow-up call?
I'd say one more follow-up call, and also try and find 3 or 4 bits of content that you could send them related to that job. Yeah. So if it's a Hallstairs and Landing, or a lounge, or an outside, common problems, with a Hallstairs and Landing, you need a durable paint for a Hallstairs and Landing, maybe. Yeah. And not use a normal trade paint. Just something that something that is going to add value or help them.
Yeah, I think just some photos of some similar jobs you've done would be absolutely fine. Put a little folder on your computer that's got 3 or 4 pictures of a Hallstairs Landing, 3 or 4 of a bedroom, or 3 or 4 outsides, whatever, and then you can just pick and send those pictures over to whoever needs them, and then there you go. You've got a basic system for tracking deals, so that you can follow up on them, and then 2 clear follow-ups. And I think adding those follow-ups to someone who's not doing it at all at the moment, I think that's gonna give you thousands of pounds in extra business every year. And it's much easier than trying to generate another lead and get another customer and nurture them from scratch and go around and quote them and stuff. It's cheaper to follow up with someone you've already driven out and quoted for than it is to go and quote for someone else. So it makes complete sense to follow up with people.
I mean, and the other thing is, if you are going to do a spreadsheet and you're not too keen on doing the follow up with the quote on that's outstanding with the most value, and then work your way down from there. So start with the one with the high value if you're not really that keen to do it, and then if they do say yes, you're onto a winner. So start with the highest value and work your way down.
Or if you're nervous about making the call and you think you're going to fumble your words,
start with the cheapest.
Start with the cheapest, yeah.
Yeah. Mess up a cheap one. What we're
basically saying is, whatever you do, just do something, because
doing something is better than doing nothing.
Yeah, absolutely. Trev, thank you very much. I think that's been really useful, and there's some stuff that people can implement straight away. And we'll leave a gap at the end of this, and I will fill out with how much of that 50 grand of business you managed to get following up, and we'll decide whether this whole conversation was pointless.
It might never go out then.
This might never go out, yeah. Okay. Trev, where can we find out a bit more from you? Where can we follow you?
Well, we do the Two Decks and the Mic podcast, so we're there, Two Decks everywhere, really. Two Decks and the Mic, you'll find us. Also got YouTube. I've not really done a lot on that lately, but that's Paint and Decorating Tips by TJ on Insta at TJ Decorating, and I think that's about it, really. And you kindly sent out it was before we called it. It doesn't matter because it'll be a while ago now, won't it?
Your pricing sheet.
Yeah, the pricing spreadsheet, which seems to be really popular.
You're smashing that. That is a great thing that you're doing. So Trev is offering his pricing spreadsheet, which is an Excel spreadsheet. You just put your numbers in, and it adapts to your business and your skills, and you can accurately and quickly work out quotes just faster and easier than ever. So what I'll do is I'll put a link for that in the show notes, and people can download that.
Thank you, John. That would be much appreciated.
Pleasure. I say I'll do that, but I might forget. But
I'll remind you.
Trev, thank you so much for your time once again.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, and see you soon. Okay, quick update then. I spoke to Trev. He did his follow-up calls. He secured 2 jobs and got £7,000 worth of business out of it. So, proof. Following up, definitely worth it. Cheers, guys.